Okay, what I will do is I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm not going with the directly PowerPoint. I'll give the little background that, when you have a browser, how can you take a look and other things, okay? Let me share my screen. Okay, I will highlight a few things, right? This is the Scrapy website. If somebody wants to go, right, just type Scrapy, and then what it does is it will show in the browser. You click here, click in the documentation. Anybody can see the documentation. Our main focus today is just to go very high level, how to create a small Scrapy project, how you can able to grab the information from the web browser, right? Basically, you are scrapping the website. That's very high level picture. Okay, this is a documentation. Now the next step today I'm going to do here is one of the tutorial they give is they utilize this URL. I will go with this URL so that when you are playing around this tutorial, it is easy for you to understand and other things. Okay, this is a website. If somebody wants to scrap the website, right, first thing you have to do is just launch the URL, right? Now the next thing is here the tags are there, here the text are there, right? Here is the author. Three things we want to capture it, right? First thing what you have to do is just whichever the text or whichever the item you want to scrap, right? First you need to select like this, right click. I'm using a Chrome browser, click on inspect, right? Once inspect, it will show like this screen at the bottom. Now there is a two ways you can achieve it. One is XPath and then X selector, like a based on the unique attribute you can able to do, right? For now, let's take this is the span element, right? Now if you want to do this XPath, this one, very simple, right click and then click on copy, you get XPath, right? You have two options. One is a full copy path and then XPath, right? You copy XPath for sake of thing, and then you can take a browser or anything like sorry, any editor. In the bottom also you can do. There is option. There is a one which is not showing me for now. Here, if you go here, there is the one search. I think you can type here paste. You can able to see that it is highlighted that what it is. But if you look here, right, anybody see here HTML body div2 div1, right? Basically it is all array kind of a structure it is showing, right? It is not that easy for you to do, right? Normally what we do here is whenever we look this element, we click on that and then we see what is the uniqueness, right? Here it says that span class is text, item properties text, right? If we go, what I'm going to do here is for simplicity, I'll type like this, right? Here attribute, I'm just thinking, we can show simple attribute, but only thing is it might have multiple places. It is not unique, right? What you have to do is you need to go little high level. Then you can grab all the span element, right? We can go like a little bit high level, like for example, div, right? Then you can able to give what is the class, right? Quote. Then next level is a class is a text. Like that, you can able to navigate it, right? For now, just for understanding purpose I'm doing, but don't worry about that, right? What I'm trying to say here is how we can able to look in the browser, identify the elements, and then scrap that item, right? In this case, right, it is not one, right? It has many elements, right? If you look here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, then you can go to the next, right? Then if you go to the next, right? All these things we will talk, right? For now, just simplicity in the browser, how you can able to grab it, right? On the top, it keep changing the numbers. If you look here, if I go to previous, number 3. If I go previous, it is 2. If I go previous, it is 1. After that, nothing is there. If you keep clicking, it will know that, there is a place, there might not be any elements, that kind of use cases we will cover it. Okay, this demo is going to be more practical, right, rather than theory. Theory might be very limited, but I'm going to give very high level picture what it is and other things. Okay, let's go my presentation. Okay, this is a simple presentation I prepare for another MDNA project. I will take same presentation and then I will try to explain at very high level. Okay. Today, what we are going to talk is what is a Scrapy, what are the benefits about using a Scrapy, right? What are the features are available, how Scrapy works, right? How the selectors, right? Just now I was talking about the element, how selector works. Now, how we can install the Scrapy, right? How we can able to run the Scrapy, right? When you run the Scrapy Python program, what it does is it generates the file, right? How you can able to achieve it with the Scrapy with the minimal code, and then you don't need to know a lot of things, right? Scrapy provide you a few configuration you do one time, and then all the developers can just write 2 things, and then it is all done. Okay, that is my goal here. Okay, to explain those things. Now, if the Scrapy is application framework, right? It provide you crawling as well as a scrapping. Crawling is nothing but you are navigating the page, right? You can go here, there, and all the stuff. You can able to scrolling just like a Google does, right? It does both the functionalities. That is the major important. It also support many extraction structures, right? You can also save into different format. It can be CSV, it can be any kind of JSON or anything. So many data formats are available, right? Then it also allow you to do selector. Just now I was talking XPath selector, or you can use CSS classes. Either way, whichever is convenient, depends on the situation, you can use it. Those are the easy scenarios. The main advantage here is you don't need to know that, how to call the website or which API you have to use and all the stuff. The Scrapy provide you all the things for you. Those are abstract for you. You don't have to know how it works or what it does internally, right? But high level, you can understand that, what Scrapy does, and then, how it works and all the stuff, right? Next one is main features are you can do XPath and CSS, right? Then the main concepts here we use as spiders. Spider is the Python program which does all the magic for us. We are going to put all the XPath few Python lines, and then so that we can assign to the object. That object we call the items. Those two are the important things. Remaining, we don't have to worry for our project. The next is logging, email notification. All those things are there. We don't have to worry about anything. For now, we just need to understand that what is the spider, what is the items. Those 2 items we are going to go through today. Okay. Next is it is very easy to do it, because this is asynchronous programming. What that means is everything does uh, its own time, right? What synchronous programming means, you have to wait for response to come back, right? Whereas asynchronous programming means you call something and then it gives a response back. That is the major difference. This is asynchronous programming, as well as it does a concurrent programming. Like what that means is you have 100 requests are going through, right? It does in the background 100 calls. It is going to happen in the background, and then it build the structure. It use its own algorithms and everything, and then it get back the response quickly. That is a major important thing, right? It does a parallel processing in the background, right? We don't need to know how parallel processing happening and all the stuff. It is pretty much, fault tolerance, right? Failure. If something fails, it automatically take care for you. You don't have to do anything. Okay. Now this is a very, very high level architecture. This diagram I grabbed from the website. It is available. First step is, if you look, the first is the request one is a spider. Spider is a Python program. Once you run Python program, what happens is it is going to the Scrapy engine. Scrapy engine, what it does is it is going to schedule that activity, right? Inside the spider, whatever is available, right? You say that, go to the internet, and then, whatever the URL we are going, course dot so and so, it will go to the website or internet in this case, right? Grab that HTML, right? You send the request, you grab the HTML. Once the HTML reaches, right, number 5, number 6, what it does is we are going to do the XPath or selector, whatever we does, and then it gives a response back to the spider program. That's a very high level picture. Okay, I will repeat again. Just now we saw the web browser, right? Web browser contains HTML structure, right? When you look, whichever the technology you are using, what it does is it generates a HTML page. Okay. Now when you send the request, right, what you get it is you get a HTML page. Just like a browser, you have HTML. Like that, we get a response as a HTML. Once you have a HTML, your Python program is going to look at HTML and does the, all the whatever the processing you are configured there, right? It is a XPath. Okay, go this div, this div, this div, right? It will go sequentially and grab the elements, and then we are going to store into the item object, right? Item is the another Python class. That's the very high level picture. If we understand this one, remaining will be easy for us. Okay. Next is these are the selector we already spoke. Okay. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to how to install the Scrapy, how to create a simple project, and then how to run the Scrapy program, right? Now, in order to install the software, what we do is we open a, I'm going to use a PyCharm, and then you can use any editor. We just create one Python project. Then we go to terminal, we run this command, pip install Scrapy. We have a software available. We run one command, Scrapy start project, and then you can give any name, right? Here I'm using a tutorial. You can use weather project or whatever, you can give any name, right? Now if I go here, once you click that, it generates a structure like this. Okay. It gives a tutorial top level package, then it has some configuration, we don't have to worry. Now items, this is where you need to put all the classes inside this Python. And then there is another folder called spiders. This is where you create a Python class, and then you just write your XPath. That's it. As a developer, that's what we do. Now this is what I'm going to talk about, that, right? How we can run the command line. We use a Scrapy crawl, and then we give the name quotes. Quotes is the name, right? Here Scrapy only look for this name. Here is the quotes. For example, if you give a course 2, right, you just mention course 2. Here if you give some tutorial, you give Scrapy crawl tutorial minus O means we are giving output. but technically we don't need to give that, because once we configure, automatically it saves into the CSV file. For now, for a initial stage, you can just do this way, so that you get a feel of that, how it is saving and all the stuff, right? Now for the resources, we just know I was going through, right? This is a tutorial we will look at, right? Next step, what I'm going to do here is I will go to the PyCharm, right? This is the project I created, but what I will do is I'll close this, right? I'll start from the scratch, create a new project. We can give any name. I'll give a Scrapy 3, right? Now we click on create. It creates a project for you, right? Now I'm going to delete this. Then what I'm going to do here is I want to make anybody to understand. I'll go here. I'll make a split the screen. I go here, right? I go to Scrapy website. We'll go step by step so that tomorrow you can understand the same way, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the terminal. You see the terminal. I'm going to just run this one command, pip install Scrapy. If you look here, what we did was we created a Python project, right? The only reason we created the Python project is it going to run its own environment. There is a lot of ways you can do, but I feel this is easy for anybody to follow. Okay, I just run the pip install Scrapy. This is the only software we needed. We click on Scrapy install, and then it installs in few seconds, depends on the internet and other things. Is almost done, right? It is, if you look here, okay, if you see here, it installed latest version, and then pip is installed now, right? Now this is the installation. That's what they are telling here is what are the softwares internally does, and then what are the libraries it uses, and all those things they're explaining, right? XML parser or XML parser, LXML, right? And then for data extraction, what they're using, for URL web page encoding, what they're using, for asynchronous network framework, what they're using. All these things they are explained here. If you look under lib, all these things are installed, right? Under bin, you can able to see all the twist, and then Scrapy. What else? All the whatever the software is needed, it installed for a Python packages, you can say. Okay, we don't need to worry about that, what installed or anything, but I thought let's give some background. Now this is what happened, right? Now the next step is we want to start setting up the project, right? Now what we do is we just run this command, copy, paste. In few seconds it is done, right? Okay, let me refresh it. Yeah, it is came, right? Tutorial, if it's make it bigger, right? All these things are created for you. Here highlighted things are, right, items. It is already created, but it is empty, right? Here we mentioned that if you have 3 fields, we are going to put the names, right? And then main important thing here is we are going to write one spider, and then we will run it, right? Next is, this is the spider program, the simple spider, right? Whenever what Scrapy framework does is, right, it looks for a first function, right? First function is a start request. It is going to look for this function, whatever the URLs you are mentioning, It will go there and then it start executing, right? This yield, what it does is it is a asynchronous programming. It waits for all the requests are completed. That's where here the callback function it is using is the parse. Even if you don't use the parse also, by default it does a parse function it is using, right? This is one way of writing. The other way of writing is this is another way of writing. You just mention the start URLs. You can have as many URLs you want, right? You just mention like this, and then you just write one parse function, and then it does. Assuming that instead of parse you are using some other function, then you have to follow this way, right? Then you have to say that self dot whatever the function name. Right? By default, it expects that it has a this information start URL and then parse function. Okay, those two will be there, and then that's it. Once you run it, Scrapy scroll, and then you give the Python this name, and then that's it. It does all the magic for you. Okay, let me pick. Okay, let's pick this. This is one you guys can understand here. This is a one way of representing. I'll take this. Okay, I'll copy entire stuff. Copy. Okay, first I need to write. It created, and then what I will do is I'll copy everything. Save all. Right now this is done, right? What I'm going to do here is I'll just run as it is. I'm not going to change anything. If you look here, the structure is like this. There is a tutorial 2 times appearing, right? You have to go little one step down. Now I'm going to run this one. Paste. What I'm running this is Scrapy crawl, and then I'm giving the name of my spider. This is the name. Then you are giving what is your output. In this case, it is JSON output, right? If you look here, it generated the output. Let's see where it generated. Okay, here the JSON is there. If I click here, okay, you can't see properly. What I will do is I will take, okay. This is the JSON, like if you pick like a text, comma, author, comma, tags, comma, right? Tags, it is returning like array or list, you can say. This is what it is returning, right? For us, instead of JSON, we are interested for a CSV file, right? I don't have to do anything. CSV, that's it. It generates for you. You look here, it generates a CSV file. For understanding purpose, what I will do is I will go to documents, Scrapy tutorial. I click open with. If I This is what it generated for you, right? This is a very high level picture we are doing, right? But reality, we don't do this way. We are going to build the structure and then we do it. But for simplicity, I just want to show that, how Scrapy is going to help us to generate any kind of output, that's my intention. Okay. The next steps I want to explain here is now same item, right? If I look here, if you look here, what I'm doing is I'm manually assigning the text author tag, right? You don't have to do this one. Inside the item, we can define the just simple property and then which does all the magic for you. I will go that one. For now, just I want to explain one more item here. Just now what we did is in the spider, we have page 1, right? Page 2, page 3 on the top, page 3, page 4, like that, right? But reality, we can't put, if you have 100 pages, how do you know, right? You can't go through every page and then, but we want a program to take care of everything for us, right? Okay, we have 10 minutes. What I will do is I'll go a little faster. Okay. Now here, one more thing I want to explain here is we have a CSS span text :text, right? We are telling that, get function. We are telling that span is the HTML tag, and then there is a text is the attribute. We are telling that the name is a text. That's what we are doing, and then we are grabbing everything. Author is another one, k tag, like this. You can follow the patterns, right? So that it is easy for you to do. Just take a look and then see different things, right? Now if I go, the another example here is, now I grab everything, right? This is only cover the one page, right? But I'm also interested to go the next page, right? Here we need to build the next page like this. If we want to go to the next page, right? Next page has an anchor tag. Anchor tag, what it does is it has a label next. Based on that, we are going through. If we look at the bottom, if we highlight here, inspect, you see here, Lee is HTML tag, and then class is the next, and then we are grabbing what is the next, right? We are appending the URL, appending or replacing whatever we are doing. If I go here, what we are doing here is we are grabbing the next page, then we are joining that URL next, right? Next page. Based on that, we are basically looping entire stuff. That's what, if you understand those things, we are good, right? Next thing I want to highlight here is it items? Okay. Next thing I want to highlight here is there is another one called items. We are going to define, like, for example, here the customer item is there, right? We just define a field name, just a fields, first field, second field, like that, right? Now the modern, the latest version, they also included a data class. You can do this way also. You can specify the data type and everything. But this is one of the way you can use it. Okay. This is the way I use the projects. But either way you can do. Now what I will do is, one, I will show you the real project we did. Okay. This is one of the websites we have, like so many Bangladeshi real estate, sale, rent, and all the things, right? We grab the stuff recursively, and then we build the object, right, item, and then we did the structure, right? If I go here, the proper where is item? We have items. We build the structure like this. That's it. We assign it, and then eventually it does the CSV file. Also, we configure the pipeline inside the pipeline or settings. here in the settings, we set it up that, what is the output, where it has to give, right? We give the output file. This is output. Underneath, whatever the name of the spider, and then what is the timestamp, right? If I could brief properties, it generated the file for you like this. Okay, this is very high level. What I will do is I will stop recording and then we will take some questions. Okay.